Hello everyone, welcome back to In Hand Automation. So today we are going to actually discuss why should tester care? The real reason QA engineer must learn the AI in 2026. So let's get started. Now, we have heard a lot about the AI, and whenever we heard about the AI, we immediately think about the ChatGPT. We open ChatGPT and we ask, give me a test cases for this requirement, or write a Selenium code for this scenario. We copy paste the script, or we copy paste our code and ask ChatGPT to make it correct or make it logical. We, as a QA engineer, like we ask many test cases or many user stories to generate the test case or to write the script for the same. But AI is much bigger than that. As a QA engineer, if you really want to use AI in your career, you should understand what is happening behind these tools. So, what is AI? What is generative AI? What is LLM, RAG, Agentic AI? How can all of this actually help us in software testing? So, instead of starting with complicated definition, let me start with a very simple story. So, here, imagine there is a QA automation engineer named Rahul. Rahul is working on e-commerce application. His team has a production release tomorrow, and it is Thursday evening, guys. Okay, so Rahul is almost ready to finish his work for the day, and suddenly his manager comes to him and says, "Rahul, we have the production release tomorrow. We need to complete the regression testing tonight." Rahul says, "Sure. How many test cases do we have?" His manager says, "We have 500 test cases." Rahul is not very worried. Why he is not worried? Because they already have the automation framework ready. So Rahul just triggered the regression pipeline and tests start running. 1 hour passes, then 2 hours. Finally, the execution is completed. The moment execution completed, Rahul opens the test execution report and see total 500 test cases are there. 453 test cases is passed, 47 failed. Now Rahul has a problem. Actually, this is where the real work start, right guys? Because 47 failed test cases do not mean that application has 47 bugs, correct? Maybe some test failed because of the test data was incorrect. Maybe some cases is failing because of the environment instability. Maybe an API was down, or maybe the authentication token was expired. So Rahul start investigating. He opened first failed test, check the screenshot, check the logs, check the API response, and then he opened the second failure and again repeating the same process. That's how you guys are also doing the same, right? You are opening the logs, you are checking the screenshot, you are checking the API response. So Rahul invested around 2 to 2 hours of time to just investigating these 47 failures, why these failures occur. Now, just imagine Rahul has an intelligent QA assistant, okay, which Rahul gives the test execution report to that assistant and simply says, "Analyze this failure and tell me what happened, why these failures are there." So the assistant start analyzing the results and it reads the report, it checks the log, it compares the similar failure, it look at the error message. After some time, maybe like 5 to 10 minutes, it gives Rahul a summary that 47 test cases failed, 31 was because of environment issue, 8 was because of test data, 5 failure looks like an automation script issue, and 3 failures could be an actual application defect. So I recommend investigating these 3 failures first because it may be a possible defect. Now think about the difference. Earlier, Rahul was manually checking 47 failure test cases one by one. Now he has a system that helps him to identify where he should focus his attention. Rahul still need to validate the result, but he still need to use his testing knowledge. But instead of spending of hours doing repetitive analysis work again and again, he can focus on the important problems. This is where AI becomes very interesting for QA engineers. So, what exactly is AI? Let's start with the simplest question. What is artificial intelligence? In very simple term, guys, Artificial intelligence is the ability of computer system to perform tasks that normally require some level of human intelligence. Okay, understood? For example, understanding the languages, recognizing the patterns, analyzing the information, or making some prediction, generating the content, and in some cases, taking the actions as well. And the interesting thing is, we have already been using AI for years. When YouTube recommends a video based on what you normally watch, this is also AI. When Google Maps predict the traffic, AI is involved here. When Gmail identify a spam email, AI is there. When your phone recognize your face, that's what AI. When you ask ChatGPT a question and it understand your language and generate an answer, AI is involved. So AI is not something that suddenly appeared with ChatGPT. Okay, AI has been around us for many years, but generative AI has made AI much more accessible to normal users and professionals like us. Now, let me clear one thing. As a QA engineer, there is an important difference we should understand, that automation and AI are not the same thing, guys. Let's take Selenium as an example. Okay. Suppose I write an automation test. I hope you guys are already aware about the Selenium. You are writing the automation test there, which will help you to automate the opening browser, go to the login page, enter your credentials, click on the login button, and verify the dashboard. What will Selenium do? Exactly what I told to do or what I write in the script to do, that part Selenium will perform here. Nothing more than that. Okay. If I'll tell Selenium to click a button, Selenium will click it. If I'll tell it to verify some text, it verifies that text. It follow the predefined instructions. Now imagine the another system. I give that system the result of thousand of previous test execution. It analyzes those test results and says whenever developer make changes in the, for example, payment module, these 20 test cases have a higher chance of failing. Now, the system is not simply following a fixed script. It is identifying a pattern from previous information. That is where we start moving towards the AI and machine learning. Okay. So then generative AI changed everything. Things become even more interesting with generative AI. Imagine Rahul gets a new requirement. The requirement says a customer's account should be logged after 3 incorrect login attempts. Normally, Rahul reads the requirement and start thinking about the test cases. 3 incorrect password, 2 incorrect password, and then correct password. What happens after the account is logged? Can the customer can reset the password? All these things Rahul was reading about it, and there are many scenarios, right? Now Rahul gives the same requirement to generative AI, and that system will generate the positive test cases, negative test cases, boundary value analysis, edge cases, reset and unlock flows, everything. So now Rahul can review them, remove unnecessary test cases, and add the business specific cases and finalize his test coverage. Now, notice something important here. AI did not execute the test. AI just generate the new content based on the Rahul's request. This is what generative AI is. Okay. So generative AI can help QA engineer to generate many things, which can be a test cases, automation code, API payloads, SQL query, test data, bug reports, documentations, execution summaries, and much more, guys. So AI can help you guys throughout the testing cycle. Now think about our complete testing cycle. We receive a requirement, we analyze it, we create the test cases, we prepare the data, we automate the test case, we execute it, and we analyze the failures or whatever the test execution report, and we report the defects, and finally we create the test reports. AI can assist us at almost every stage. For example, during requirement analysis, AI can help us to identify the missing scenario. During test design, AI can help us with the test cases. During automation, AI can help us with the codes. During API testing, AI can help us with the payload assertion, negative and negative positive scenarios. During the failure analysis, AI can analyze the logs and group the similar failures. During the defect reporting, AI can help us to create a defect and bug description with expected and actual results. During reporting, AI can convert hundred of test results into a simple summary that manager can easily understand. So when we say AI for testing, we are not talking about one particular AI tool. Okay. We are talking about using AI as an intelligent layer across different QA format and different QA activities. But there is a problem. What the problem is? At this point, you might be thinking, this sounds amazing. Why don't we just give everything to AI because AI has limitations? And this is probably one of the most important thing as a QA needs to understand. AI can be wrong. Let's say Rahul give AI a requirement. AI generates the 30 test cases. They look very professional. They looks detailed. Everything looks very perfect. But maybe AI misunderstood one business rule. Maybe it created a scenario of a functionality that does not even exist. It maybe create the test cases which is important for the edge cases. And sometimes AI can give an incorrect answer with a lot of confidence. So this is what known as AI hallucination. We will understand hallucination properly in later in the series, but for now, remember one thing: AI generated output should not automatically be treated as a correct output because AI can generate a wrong output with a full confidence. So as a QA engineer, this is actually very important. Our job is already about validation. So when we use AI, we also need to validate the AI. So what do you think, guys? Will AI replace QA engineer? And now, instead of thinking about it, just think, how will AI change the way of QA engineer works? Let's take a two in QA engineer, both knows Selenium, both knows Java, both understand the API testing, both understand the SQL, both knows the CI/CD and whatever, etc. Everything. Both are aware about all the QA artifacts and all the QA practices. But the first QA engineer spent 3 hours manual analyzing the regression report, and second QA spent only few minutes using AI that perform the initial analyzing task, then generate the report. So engineer review and validate. That's all. Which engineer can spend more time solving the important problem? That's the real opportunity. The goal is not QA engineer versus AI. The goal is QA engineer plus AI. AI can handle repetitive analysis and assist with generation. The QA engineer provide a business understanding, testing knowledge, critical thinking, and final validation. So the winning model here is AI can assist, QA can decide. AI will bring you the speed, repetitive analysis, generation, pattern recognition, but they need QA engineers to provide the business contact, to provide the judgment on the testing, to provide the critical thinking. What are the risks? What are the final validation? So when you are working with the AI, you will become a better QA or better QA. And faster feedback, smart focus, and high value work will be delivered. So, in the next episode, we are going to learn AI versus machine learning versus deep learning versus generative AI. We will not memorize the definition. We will continue this Rahul's story and understand why each technology exists. Okay, so you don't need to know a very detailed about the machine learning. You don't need to understand everything on a day one. We are going to build everything by step, and whenever we will learn a new AI concept, we will connect it back to something we already understand as a QA engineer. And instead of memorizing the definition, as I already told you, we will try to understand the concepts, and we will be continuing the Rahul's story. And If you are a QA engineer and you want to learn how AI, generative AI, agentic AI can be used in a software testing, subscribe to In Hand Automation and follow this complete series. I'll see you in episode 2. Thank you for watching, guys. Till the time, keep learning, keep automating. See you in the episode 2.